Hello, everybody. I'm Kanyisi Lamini. I'm a serial e-commerce entrepreneur. And I also like to think of myself as a philosopher. And I've decided that I'm going to start posting a series of videos to help individuals to become entrepreneurs, but more importantly, to increase their wealth through e-commerce. To me, this is a very, very touchy subject. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, and I don't think there's been a business or business model that's given me so much enjoyment, so much skills, and so much wealth in such a short period of time. Um, for those who don't know, I've actually never been employed by anybody. I've never handed in my CV. I've never received salary from another organization that I didn't help create. So I really, really hope that I can offer you guys great assistance and a lot of insights, but more importantly, just give you some stories of what not to do, and hopefully you guys become more successful in a shorter span of time, but also have way more zeros. Um, so what is e-commerce? So e-commerce is basically any transaction that happens online. So for fashion over lovers, Shein or Take a Lot, once you see a product on someone else's website and you take out your credit card or your debit card and you start putting in your card details and then they charge you, excuse me, and in return they send you a product and they debit you, you have become part of someone's e-commerce funnel, you know. More about that later. But essentially what I hope to achieve with these videos is that I remove you guys, well, not completely remove you, but move you from e-commerce consumers to e-commerce producers. I'm gonna try and give you literally a short, I don't know, man, intro in terms of what type of businesses I've done before, just to give you guys an insight in terms of where I come from, from an entrepreneur perspective. So the first business I really, really started was a non-profit. No, it didn't make sense. But the reason why I started a non-profit at that time, I knew that I lacked some skill sets, and I didn't back myself to start a for-profit business. And I just thought to myself, you know what, let me start with a non-profit, build up my confidence and my skill sets, and then I'll be able to move on to the for-profit. So there were two skill sets that I really thought that I needed to know before I can engage becoming like a business owner, or businessman, or entrepreneur, some of you will say. Leadership or building a team. I thought, well, that's literally two different things, but I'm grouped them together. Was I capable of a leader to convince people to join a team that shares the same purpose, that works the same intensity to achieve the same goal? So that's one question I had to answer. And I was hoping that I can do it through football solves problems. That was the name of the internship, by the way. The second skill set was strategy. Can I come up with a strategy to ensure that the team executes their goal? Because reality of, if I think about it, is that I didn't know how to strategize. I was always involved in situations where like there was a coach telling me the strategy or a teacher telling me what I had to do to pass, but I didn't make goals and strategize on how I'm going to achieve them. So I felt like I need to get that skill set. I thought that was a very important component. And then the third skill set, which was weird, man, because should have been the first, was like I need to learn how to sell. But I learned that through running the non-profit. So um, did that. First thing I did was use leverage. Basically, there's certain things that I just didn't have or didn't have access to. I didn't have all the money, I didn't have all the skills, and I didn't have all the ideas. And I need to make a team. How am I gonna make a team if it's just me, me, me? So what did I do? I went, and I didn't know I was selling back in the day, but this is what I did. I went to the highest, most credible people that I knew in my circle. You know, people that I felt like they have different skill sets from me, and I said to them, I am starting this non-profit. I'm hoping to impact 1,000 people in Gauteng. I feel like right now, as a youth, giving back is just so boring, or it's done in such a way which is uninteresting. And I feel that football solves problems, will help the youth of today give back in such a way that they are comfortable and so used to in a fun way, and at the same time make them feel like, they're giving back to the country. And some of them said yes. And I said, okay, cool. In return, I need your skill set. So I leveraged my goal, my dream, because I had nothing, man. I had no money, I had no past experience, I had none of that. All these people knew is that I'm their friend, I guess. I'm a good guy. So I punted an idea, made it sound sexy, and in return, I wanted their time and I wanted their skill set. That is fundamental. Um, yeah, I learned a few things. So for those who want to get into a non-profit and all that kind of stuff, so there's actually three functions. Three. I ain't American. Three. Um, First one is outreach, right? The most, because there are some shady non-profits out there, and bear in mind also, non-profits back in the day were very, very evil. Colonialists and stuff used to come in, hide as non-profits and just ravish countries, but more on that later. So main function of non-profits, community outreach. So you find a community, you identify its problems, you come up with solutions, and you figure out ways to implement those solutions in a sustainable way. That's one of the objectives of a non-profit. The second is fundraising, because you need to raise funds to be able to run these community outreach programs, and like I said, it needs to be sustainable. So in fact, you need more money to help people. I didn't know this, by the way. Hey, I had an idea, I had a belief, and I said I'm going with it. Yeah, it's crazy. From there, I did some interesting fundraisers, helped a lot of people, but there were problems that crept up. First problem, we need money every time we wanted to help people. We couldn't help people without money. So I had to become an amazing fundraiser. And think about it, fundraising, you need a venue, you need food, you need marketing. You need marketing as marketing collateral, like graphic design, posts, and all that kind of stuff, videos to, promo videos, and then advertising. You need to advertise that, word of mouth or social media, pay ads, and stuff like that. So there was a lot that came into fundraising, and then you were hoping that you were able to sell enough tickets or sell enough items that you had a profit to pay off your expenses and still have a profit to run these outreach programs. So the bigger the profit, the bigger the outreach program. But then also the problem with outreach programs is that they need to be sustainable. How long is it gonna take to transform someone's life? One day, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. So you need to have that money, and at the same time, the way we were doing it, because we weren't having any technologies enabling us to serve more than one-to-one outreach programs, so we were always limited to the amount of people we could help. So I just thought to myself, this is just not scalable. I need to be one person that talks to at least 1 million people. Did that story for another day. So then after a year, I was like, okay, cool, I need to get into technology to understand that. And then, boom, I had the confidence and the skill sets to start a for-profit business. And yeah, bear in mind, guys, I didn't just start it because I wanted to start it. In my mind, like I said, I was a philosopher. I said, okay, cool, problem one, I need to become a for-profit business because I need money. I need money to help people, and I need margins. Now, what's a margin? Margin, I'll buy a suite from you at R1. I sell it to a friend of mine at R2. So I pay you your R1. I take R1 profit. So that's like 100% margin. I know it's technical, but I'm trying to simplify this and I'll do all this fancy stuff later. So I knew that I needed to have higher margins, that I needed to become for profit to get enough money to help outreach. And then once I got to the outreach part, I needed some form of technology that could help people anytime those people needed help, or help 100 people at one go. So I just didn't have those skill sets, and now I need to elevate myself to get new skill sets. Started augmented instinct technologies with my boy. He was a space engineer, IoT engineer. He was all types of engineer. Again, I leveraged, but this time I didn't tell him the goal. I went to him and said, "This is what I've done. I've been running a non-profit for about a year. I've impacted, let's say, 22,000 people at that time. I have generated X amount of money in fundraising and stuff like that. I've come to realize, for me to have a bigger impact on this world, I need a more tech-driven solution." I paid him with what I've done, previous experience, because I didn't have that before. I baited him with the goal, and I saw how he fits in because he had the technological. So there again, I leveraged. Leverage is so important, guys. You don't need money, you don't need time, you just need to understand leverage. Got him. At that time, we were building with the technology business. We moved away from non-profits, but it was understanding like how to build a website. Actually, I learned how to build a website through that business. Learned how to build cloud drives for people. So like your Google Drives, we would go to small businesses and build that for them personally and stuff like that. So then literally I grew from that business. I felt like we wanted to help more people. Boom, decided, okay, cool. I want to go help and make everybody fundi, teach them entrepreneurship on a digital platform so that they can better themselves. And again, collaborated with some bad, 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 bad as entrepreneurs. Like, they were hard. They were like creatives. They were everything, but they were amazing, and we were able to literally teach people how to build and fly drones. We literally bought in partnership with the company Duke, put in Sophia, and they taught like artificial intelligence, and we scaled it out to over 1 million children. So yeah, and then COVID hit, and literally we were doing more, workshops teaching people how to do these hard skills and technical skills. So COVID just said no movement, friend. So business was tough, and then had to reimagine myself, and then the skill of websites. And literally, I thought to myself, hey man, I see there's a lot of influencers with a lot of followers. I'm pretty sure if they had a product and they were able to sell online, they'll be able to make some buck. And I did that for a few influencers. Some we do know, some we don't. I'm still doing it for some I don't do that for them. But on that process, I saw how it worked, so I understood what social media marketing could do, how to convert through e-commerce. And bear in mind, I just knew how to build websites. I didn't really know how to interact in the e-commerce world. I just knew how to do one out of the 6 important things of e-commerce, which is build a website. And then from there, I bumped into a YouTube video, Bieza, and he told me something about drop shipping. And drop shipping, essentially, you build a website, you take the product images, but you don't actually have the stock or the inventory. Like, you don't physically possess the product. All you know how to do is build a website, you put the product image, the customer finds your website, they click on that, you put a margin. So you say, again, this thing's for 1 rand. I sell it for 3 rand. I take that 1 rand. So it costs 1 rand. Sorry about that. It costs 1 rand. I'm selling it on my store for 3 rand. Customer gives me their 3 rand. I go to the manufacturer and I say, hey, here's the customer's address. Here's your 1 rand, and here's an extra 50 cents for you to deliver it to the customer. Please take care of everything. And then boom, I pocket 150. When I found that out, man, I went like this. And that took me a long time to figure out, and this is why I've chosen, okay, now it's time for me to give back and show you how to do these things, right? So now, as now just giving that whole story, let me tell you the four things that you need to know, especially mindset wise, to even start with e-commerce, right? So this is, I call this, I'm a dream weaver. You know, I weave dreams. I turn ideas into profit, and I'm hoping that after you watch these videos, you'll be able to do the same thing. So this is what I call the dream weaver technique. All right. So this is what you need. The four steps you need to manifest. Four steps you need to manifest what you want out of life. Obviously, this is going to be in the e-commerce, but you can apply this dream weaver technique into everything and anything. I've ran from non-profit to e-commerce to tech, hard tech businesses, like watch it, like anything that you're trying to bring into reality for profit, this will work. So the first is idealization, right? Some you guys can call this visualization, but this is idealization. Know where you want to end up. That is the ideal situation. Where do you want to end up? I didn't get a job, guys. I didn't like apply for a job because I saw like no one had a jet, no one had a Ferrari. Why would I try and get a job if it ain't gonna give me what I want in the end? So that's idealization, right? Literally, you before you plant the seed, imagine the harvest that you want, right? So if you want a Bentley or if you want a family, you know that that is what you want. That is your ideal environment. Now all your actions, your beliefs and everything need to tilt in that direction. So that is idealization. An example of this, let's say an architect, man. Imagine someone trying to build your house without any plans. You wouldn't let them build your house. You know, you need the plans there. You need the ideal. This is how ideally I would like this house to look like. Here is my plan. We follow this plan. Ideally, we shall get to ideal environment, right? So that is idealization, right? Just a little bit about that. Everything is an idea, guys. I literally told you about the business influence, right? It was in here. I am wearing a shirt with the logo on it. We had to design this logo. We had to find the t-shirt here, a couch, this thing here. It wasn't just there forever, guys. There's a process. If you can understand that everything that you've seen, everything that you touch is someone else's idea and they were able to manifest it, they were able to take the right steps to ensure that they bring it to the real world, then you will understand that you can achieve everything. I know there's this bullshit system that tells you, oh my gosh, study this, you get that, you get the certificate, you get that job, and then you realize shit that doesn't happen. But I tell you this one thing, everything that you see is an idea, and you just need to ensure that you can also be a person that contributes to society with your ideas, right? And this is very important, you know, guys. Mind in action is thought, and thought is creative. Every single idea that you have is creative. If it's a good idea and it comes from a good source, it's a creative. So you are a creator. Every human being is a creator. So therefore, the thoughts that you have are creative. So therefore, you are able to achieve whatever you want. So that's just on idealization, right? The second thing is observation. Now, I think this part is very, very underrated. Observation is basically researching. It's like research and observe the people or companies that have achieved your ideal outcome. Don't be researching and observing people that have not achieved what you're trying to achieve. And this is the biggest problem that I see around a lot of people. You hang around a lot of people that you think they're gonna get you somewhere, but they're actually not there themselves. But why are you chilling with them? Why are you even there? Or you're following a teacher. Like you get into a business class, and this person who's teaching this business class hasn't owned a business themselves. And now you're supposed to learn from them. Guys, no. Observe the right people. The people who have achieved your ideal outcome. And once you observe and research those people, those companies, don't see what they've done right. Because you know what? We'll never know what kind of circumstances was like required for them to achieve the success. What you're observing, once you find the people who have achieved the thing that you want to achieve, is you want to understand their failures. Because why? You don't want to make the same failures, guys. That is why I'm making this video, so I can say, guys, if it took me 10 years to do something, watch this, and I'm hoping that it's going to take you 5 years. And I'm going to tell you my mistakes, so you don't have to make the mistakes, waste your resources, waste your time, waste your emotions. You can follow a plan, and maybe you can deviate in that plan, but at least it's better than starting from scratch. So that is what I have to say about observation. Now, like I said, if you want to become an Olympic gold swimmer, you're going to study an Olympic gold winning swimmer. You know, study what they eat, how they train, how they move. You know, if you could get a hack in terms of literally being in their house for like 3 months and seeing how they go about becoming an Olympic swimmer, and then you took all that information and you just applied it, that is what observation is looking for. That's the be all and end all of observation. The third one, and this is where everyone's gonna stop this video and be like, nah, is implementation, guys. Implementation. There is, side note, so many people, we have a great idea, we've done the research, but when it's time to do the work or implement the work, that is when their phobias come out, their insecurities come out, you know, all these negative space or thoughts that come out and we don't understand where they come from. Still do it. And guys, it's not going to be perfect. Understand something. E-commerce and life is not about perfection. It's about progression. Even if you're moving very, very slowly, as long as you're moving straight and forward or upward, it's okay. Because let me tell you something about implementation. Once you've implemented, the most important thing about implementation is the feedback. Personal feedback first. To see like, okay, man, this didn't work so great. What's going on here? No, let me touch it up like this. Let me do it like that. But it is something that you can look at and say, okay, cool. This has been the result of my action. I'm still so far away from my idealized goal or my outcome. What do I need to do via my action to get closer to my outcome? You know? Taking action towards your ideal outcome based on the research and observation you have done is another important thing, guys. Momentum attracts momentum. You can think up the whole day, the whole morning about how you're going to do this, do that. But the moment you act and people see you act, then they will be attracted to that. And that person can either give you their skill set, their money or something. And that momentum, if you continue, will finally get you somewhere, and that's a manifestation. Now, I'm telling you right now, guys, momentum is so critical. Even when things are looking best, oh my gosh, and things have been best, guys. Let me tell you, I don't know how many times I've just haven't had money or almost gone under. And the only thing that's got me to this point where I'm like, I can wear one of my company's t-shirts here, giving back on like a Monday, because like I said, guys, I make my money differently. Like, I don't have to check in or whatever like that. Check in with my customers, but like this is okay, you know, is you have to persist. Not because it's perseverance and stuff like that, but momentum attracts more momentum. If you don't quit, guys, over a long time horizon, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, some companies lost 100 years. I hope I can have one of those. But if you keep the momentum, guys, you will be the person that everyone talks about, you know. When I started, I wasn't an entrepreneur. Shit, I was just a hustler. But people came to my non-profit events. People bought websites from me. People saw Sophia. Oh, people saw the logo. Now people believe I'm an entrepreneur. I even believe I'm an entrepreneur, you know. But it's because I didn't quit, you know. So momentum brings everything, guys. And what will happen is that thought will lead to action. Action will develop methods. Methods will develop friends, and friends will develop circumstances. And then only then will you be able to manifest your ideal outcome. At manifestation, guys, you have become who you needed to become to achieve the thing you needed to achieve. Oh, I messed it up. What I was supposed to say was you have become who you needed to become by doing what you needed to do to achieve what you wanted to achieve. You know, so just to round up, guys, to manifest anything using the dream mover technique, you need idealization. You need to know what is the ideal environment you're trying to get to. You need observation. You need to observe people who are at the ideal environment or the ideal outcome that you're trying to go to and study them. And most importantly, study their failures. Number three, implementation. You have to implement what you have observed works and try to do that over and over and over again until you get to the point of of the manifestation point. And remember, guys, you need to become the person that is successful. So you need to become, right? And then once you have become, you will start doing the stuff that you weren't able to do. Because remember, guys, becoming means you're developing a skill set. If you don't know how to build an app, build websites, do something, you need to become that person who knows how to do that. So that when you do the thing that you need to know how to do, then you can achieve the status that you're trying to achieve. Guys, like I said, I'm giving these videos. Next week, I'm hoping to tell you more about the lean methodology. So that will be an actual, like, practical way of, okay, cool. I have an idea. How am I going to bring this idea forth? This was more of a intro and a mentality mindset, and it's very, very important, guys, because you don't go anywhere without a great mindset. And some of you are stuck because of your mindset, and I just hope that this will give you another perspective and another view. So that's all for me today, and hope you like this, guys. Cheers.